Hang on.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Hi there, how you doing?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How have you been?
I'm all good, thanks.
I have a
Yourself?
bad feeling the Halo TV show is going to suck, but other than that, I'm good.
Yeah, I've not heard great things.
I just saw that apparently the showrunner said that they did basically, I forget the exact quote, but he basically said they didn't look into anything about the games and just made their own thing.
I think they already said early on, though, that it was going to be its own separate thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have to change something so much that it's not canon anymore, why'd you even do it in the first place? I don't know if that's just overly simplified or not.
I think it's kind of like just a way of like wiping the slate clean, because like, you think about all these kind of adaptations that haven't gone well, or just I can't help but think that like trying so hard to like link it all in is just it's too risky from the get-go.
Camera's not working.
I just think it's funny that in like 25, 30 years, the best movie or TV adaptation of a video game was the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie.
I take it the new one wasn't very good then.
It had cool parts, but it was just, yeah, it just didn't do it for me. Like, I'm trying to not spoil anything. I'm assuming you haven't seen it.
Yeah, more because I don't want to.
Like, Kano is by far, like, the guy who plays Kano nails it so good, but then they kill him like 15 minutes in. And I'm just like, I love Kano, but if he's the most interesting character in your Mortal Kombat movie, there's probably something wrong.
To be honest, like I heard that even with the early Mortal Kombat movies, like New Line Cinema or whatever their name is, the studio that financed it, like really did them dirty because they promised a certain amount of money and then they just cut the amount significantly, which is
Like
just
yeah, but I mean, like the first one turned out for its shoestring budget, turned out really good. And then the 1997 one was kind of silly, and I get why people hated it, but it's kind of in that so bad it's good category for me.
yeah. I just mean like that movie should be respected purely alone for like the fact that they accomplished something despite all that kind of thing.
Oh, for sure, I agree 100%.
Like I actually wrote my university. I think we call them papers, but we call them dissertations on like video game adaptations.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, we have I don't know if how different it is, but in the States, a dissertation is something you tend to write in like grad school or for your doctorate. You generally just would call it a paper if you're an undergrad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in that kind of like realm of basically studying for a degree, but I still don't know what undergrad and postgrad the difference is, to be honest.
Oh, so undergrad would be like your first 4 years, and then a grad school would be your master's, and then your doctorate would be your doctorate, at least in U.S. logic.
Okay, I think we're all live. Finally got the everything working. Just make sure. Can anybody hear me on the chat? Make sure the mic is working. Okay. Yet again, we have technical issues, but I think we're all good now.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you in the stream.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So we've got Curtis here. And so we've got randoms here. Nico's here. Jumpy, nice to see you. How you doing? And Cody, how you doing? Nice to see you. And Fabian too. Excellent. Sounds great. Excellent. Well done. We're all rocking and rolling, and we'll get some games going. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. The chat we've set some Renegade moments. I want to know if you play Renegade and do you like it or not. And tonight we've got I think we've got a full house tonight as well. Tex Nose here, Cerberus Guy, Curtis is here. So yeah, should be a good game. I think we're actually on a little later than normal, due to the daylight savings has changed. I think it changes for us in the UK here next week. So yeah, so this week and next week will probably be a bit later than normal for some people, and then it should fall into line with everybody else. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if mine's actually going to work, but I'll keep trying to reload the game.
Okay, no worries.
I genuinely think the reason why I keep having problems is because of a mod I installed without using Mod Manager.
Ah, there we go.
If it's a mob problem, then it's Todd Howard's fault.
Does Todd Howard manage those?
No, but it's just fun to say that every time there's a mod bug or a glitch that it's Todd Howard's fault. When I was playing Skyrim last night and I was just walking down a path, and all of a sudden a mammoth floated up upside down out of the road in front of me. And I was like, yeah, that's Todd Howard's fault.
Well, Diana's here. Do you want should we bring Diana in for one while you're reloading?
Sounds good.
I can sit one out later too, just so everyone can get in as well.
Yeah. Hello, Guy. Nice to see you. Nika's returned after a minor internet problem. Oh, I've got too many mouses. Mouse for the chat and mouse for the game, and I keep using the wrong one. We'll bring Diana and we'll get started, and we'll have a match and then mix it up a bit later. What we're chatting about today is Renegade. Your best Renegade moments. I'm going to make a video on it, so I'm not going to lie. I'm going to pinch them. Best Renegade moments for a video, and I'll credit whoever I pinches. So.
Not sure if it counts, but when I installed the Mass Effect game, I felt pretty Renegade.
You not played Renegade?
No, I just said when I uninstalled Mass Effect 3, I felt pretty Renegade.
Oh, you felt pretty Renegade.
I think that counts. I was going to say I intentionally skip the last Renegade trigger in Mass Effect 3 to let the Elusive Man kill Anderson, so you don't have to waste 5 minutes sitting through his super cringy "I'm proud of you" speech. I don't know, that's probably pretty Renegade-y, even though you're skipping a Renegade moment to do it.
That's pretty cool. You do. I have noticed that with the Elusive Man, if you don't get him to shoot himself in the head, then you get that little extra bit where he's looking at Earth. And he says that, it's beautiful.
I know, that's such a cool scene where he's like, I wish you could see it like I do, Shepard.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I honestly really like the extended version of that final scene with him, where I don't know, it's still kind of cheesy, but I think he's talking with Shepard about if she ever thought about having kids, or he ever thought about having kids or something. And I just thought it was nice that it didn't end so suddenly with him. It added a bit more. I don't know if anyone else has seen that on YouTube or ever, but there's a mod for it for restoring it.
I don't think I have. Was that with the Anderson's extended bit as well?
Yeah, with basically an extended version of that scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
Anderson dies.
Yeah, I don't think the Elusive Man ever asked you about your kids.
I think with him it would be a lot creepier.
Hollywood Guy says he likes your Star Wars review, by the way.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, sorry, my phone died, so I can't look at chat right now. Right now, at least.
Cody's favourite Renegade moments are Mass Effect 2 when you push the guy out the window. That is a proper classic scene.
I'm surprised no one's mentioned shooting Conrad in the foot yet.
Not to sound too dumb, but are the Bink files in the Mass Effect game folder, are they all mods or are they like something else as well as mods?
I don't think they're all mods, but I can't swear to it.
Right. Because I vaguely remember the mod I installed, which was like a Tally Extended Romance or something. I think it was called Bink something. Just trying to see if I can find it and delete it basically to fix my problem. I genuinely thought Hollywood Guy said Equator then. Yeah. I don't think people... Yeah. Yeah, obviously it's Ecuador, but...
That's pretty cool. Oh, happy birthday, Nico. Favorite Renegade is killing the Quarian fleet. But you hate yourself for it.
That's a Paragon choice. Come on now.
Watching,
I don't care how nice you think. Sorry.
Say watching Tally kill herself.
Well, she's way more dramatic than Ron. Ron just shoots herself. Tally's a drama queen and has to do this make a big thing about jumping off the cliff.
I mean, all her people died, you can't blame her.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Ron just shoots herself in the head and it's over and done with in 2 seconds. Tally, it's this big, long, drawn-out production.
Would you not be more annoyed though if she just like point blank shoots herself and it's like over in an instant?
Does it make me a bad... I'm going to answer that by asking if it makes me a bad person that the first time I couldn't... Well, my very first time playing, I couldn't make peace, which I don't think anyone did. But anyway, I sided with the Geth. And then when she was like falling and my Shepherd was chasing to like dive to catch her, all I could think of in my head was, bye Felicia.
That's oh no. I don't know.
Like that
I guess whatever comes to your mind.
probably makes me terrible, but it happened.
I mean, I get it. It is a bit like overly dramatic, but like, how else could you have done it? I mean, I think people would have been a lot more pissed off if she just shot herself and it was over in a few seconds.
Well, I mean, like, Shepherd even says he's sorry, but... Or they're sorry, rather. But I don't know.
At the end of the day, how much does that really mean if you've lost everyone you knew growing up, basically?
That's true, but I mean, like, it's... Like I've said before, like, I love Tally, she's great. But when you have, like, I love Cal Rieger and I love Chorus, but for the vast majority, the Quarians are genocidal war criminals. So I mean, like, I feel bad that Tally and Chorus and Rieger are dead, but for the Quarians as a whole, I really don't care.
Random wants to know why you'd ever do that to Sweet Tally.
Because the Geth are to sum it up perfectly about what the Geth VI says in Legion's Dead, that the creators are irrational and they can't be trusted.
Sorry, I didn't hear the end of what you said earlier, Cerberus. I had to check my door.
Oh, sorry, which part about?
Honestly, I can't remember.
I was just mentioning that there are Quarians I like. Like, I love Tally, I love Rieger, I love Chorus, I like Zen, but for the most part, I mean, the vast majority of them are genocidal war criminals. So I don't really feel that bad siding with the Geth over them if I can't make peace.
That's fair enough.
It's like there's certain individual Krogan that I really like, but I still don't cure the genophage every time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have had this argument before. I get where you're coming from with the genophage.
How'd that happen? Nico's... you're welcome, Nico. Favourite Renegade opened is when you push the mercenary in Thane's recruitment out the window. Yeah, it's quite a popular one, that, isn't it? Definitely kind of... You don't quite expect that that's what he's actually going to do.
Some fine work, team. Enemy is regrouping.
The ironic thing is, if you don't push him out the window, doesn't he go into the next room and tell half the mercenaries in there to leave? So it's just a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he does. Which probably doesn't really matter unless you're playing on Sanity, I should imagine.
I don't think Insanity is as hard as people think it is. Especially, I swear they dumped it down in the Legendary Edition.
I mean, the first game served a lot easier now.
The biggest thing with playing the first game on Insanity is once you get a half-decent assault rifle, it's basically game over.
He changed difficulty halfway through.
Was that sorry, Tim?
So can you change difficulty halfway through on a single player?
You can change difficulty whenever you want. It'll screw up your Insanity run depending on when you change it.
One more and it's a wrap.
I was just thinking, because you do New Game Plus, can't you?
All clear. Good work. Enemy forces at half strength.
So you can start off on any like normal or something, get a
Release planted on surface.
ridiculous amount of weapons and ammo and stuff, and then do an Insanity run.
I don't know, as much as I love the games, I never really found there to be that much point to doing a New Game Plus, other than to get the level 60 achievement in the first game, or the level 10 gun achievement in the third game.
I do love the bonus talents it gives you in the... I don't know if it's just the first game, but the bonus talents are cool.
Ah, behind me.
Device disabled.
Yeah, that's exactly random.
Squad member has flatlined. Squad member offline.
I read my comment. First Mass Effect and the third one is easy on understandability. As for Mass Effect 2, it took me a couple of tries. I've never even tried it, to be honest. I've never even tried it. I just kind of figured that all I'm going to do is just get cross with it.
The hardest part of any of the 3 games on Insanity for me was the Krogan on Therum in the first game. That guy had to have killed me about 50 times before I finally got him.
Ah, the one just after you saved Liara.
Yeah, because I don't know about anyone else, because I always do Liara first. So all my guns were like absolute rubbish. And just that, you basically have to kill that Krogan twice. Because you get him down to 0, and then he just he goes like berserk, and then his health refills.
Don't he throw something like warp on you as well, so you just kind of get stuck in a warp loop animation. You can't actually move anywhere.
I've had that happen with Venezia, but I don't think I ever had that happen with that Krogan.
I don't suppose there's any chance that my Origin account might save some of my progress if I delete all my files on Mass Effect.
Yeah, your account is separate from the games. Like, if you uninstall it, it'll still save. I don't even think it would get rid of your saves. Like,
your
it should
saves,
still keep all that.
Your saves are separate from your install files.
Yeah, I just mean I've tried uninstalling and reinstalling before, but I'm just talking about literally deleting the files on my PC. Like, would it be backed up in the cloud, kind of thing?
You could,
Your account achievements would.
But my game progress wouldn't be.
Well, all your save files are in a different.
In there.
They're in like a folder in your C drive.
Yeah. So if I did just delete all the Mass Effect folders, it would be gone.
It's usually your saves are usually under My Documents, I think it is, whereas your game files are usually under your program files. So as long as you don't delete your save folder, it'll keep all your progress.
Okay.
And like in-game achievements and stuff, Origin automatically backs that up in the cloud.
Only if your achievements will, yeah, but not your. You have to be careful with your save games, because I had an option with Mass Effect 2, my original version. It popped up before I started the game. It says, "Do you want to convert your save games to the cloud?" So I went, "Oh yeah," because I thought it did anyway. So I did that, and it didn't convert it, and it just deleted all my saves. So I'd lost all my progress from Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I guess I'm not too bothered about losing progress because I'm more often than not playing the story on my Xbox at the moment.
Game started gaming. I have two moments. First is when the merc gives you the wrong answer and I kick him out the window. And second is when Garrus, getting Garrus to choose. Oh yes, choose stab him in the back. Yeah, you're working too hard. It does actually make the fight easier if you do that. The gunship doesn't have as much armor, I think. Is it shields? It might be shields.
I think it's armor. But anyway, what you could do is I have a big, just like 120 gig flash drive that I just back all my saves up. So like if I uninstall a game to put something else on, if I ever want to go back to it, I'll have the saves saved, kind of thing.
It's a good idea, actually. Ow. Not really sure what's going on with Diana there, look. Tripping out. Am I going to push myself to try insanity? No. Maybe once I've got a full. No, I don't know. Maybe. I suppose if I've got decent weapons and I'm bored of life or something, then maybe.
The thing with Insanity and Mass Effect is, generally speaking, it's not hard, just parts of it are hard.
Not sure you're making a very convincing case here, so Fresco.
No, but I mean, like, for example, as far as I'm concerned, it's 100% impossible on Insanity to survive 5 waves in the Arrival DLC when you're with Object Row and What's-Her-Face is running around.
I mean, I can't
Like,
stand
I don't know how
five waves when I'm on easy.
Yeah, like I got that achievement on, I think, normal or maybe veteran, but yeah, I don't think it's possible. If anyone can do that on Insanity, my hat is off to you.
Sorry guys, looks like I'll just be lurking in the chat for this stream. I'm losing my patience with my computer.
But in all seriousness, my favorite Renegade moment is it's twofold depending on how you do the choice. It's the first time you go to the Citadel in Mass Effect 2. If you save the Council, telling them to shove it when they offer to make you a Spectre again is the most cathartic thing in the world. And yelling at Anderson if you kill the Council is pretty good too.
I always tell them to shove it with the Spectre.
I find playing Mass Effect, yeah, because I think playing Mass Effect 2 without being a Spectre makes it better. Because then you're like completely cut off anyway, and just Spectre's like that one thing tying you back to the first game.
Enemy forces down to 1.
think Mass Effect 3 could have been so much better though on like consequence if you choose to do that.
Stay alert.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that they kind of just give you it straight back on in 3 anyway. I didn't want it.
Yeah, the line where you're like, I didn't need your help to stop Saren and Sovereign, and I don't need it now. That's such a good line.
The thing is though, like, given the stakes, you do kind of need everyone you can get, don't you?
Squad member offline.
Is killing Rex bad? No. If you want the Krogans to survive, it's got to be done. No, Diana's having some lag issues.
I never
Oi.
took you for such a renegade player, Tim.
Sorry, say again?
Not.
Squad member down.
I said I never took you for such a renegade.
Ah, yeah, no. I prefer it.
Squad member in trouble.
My biggest thing is, and a lot of the Paragon choices don't, like when you do them, like they don't sound like the way Shepard talks doesn't sound like a real person. Like no one's that nice.
Yeah, but I'd also like to hope that nobody's, you know, cruel enough to randomly push someone out of the window.
Well, when it's a mercenary who's just as likely to shoot you in the back as soon as you turn around.
Squad member down.
Yeah. I phone either.
Ah,
Squad member has flatlined.
I do find that Jennifer Hale does a better Renegade than Mark Meir as well.
I think Mark Meir just comes across as too friendly. Like, no matter, I've met him a couple times in real life, and he's just such a goofball and an easygoing guy.
Member offline.
Yeah, but Jennifer Hale's quite nice as well.
Ah,
Offline.
getting swarmed.
I was genuinely curious though, like if any of you guys would play the original KOTOR games.
Yeah, I've played both.
Have you done all of the like conversations and loyalty missions and stuff in the first one?
For them, I don't know if I've done absolutely everything, but if I haven't, it's pretty close.
Because I didn't even know about most of them because for some reason my game didn't trigger them. But like, honestly, Jolie Bindo is a way more interesting character than I thought he was.
Only one more enemy.
That was the whole thing that happened with his girlfriend. It was either his girlfriend or his wife, but the whole thing with the war that he talks about.
STG planted intel here. Get on a terminal and start up.
It's just it's actually quite interesting, and it helps me understand why he's so bitter and angry all the time.
Angry, bitter people are always the most interesting characters. That's why Zaid's so cool.
Yeah, but you never understand why Zaid's so bitter, do you?
We need the upload ASAP.
I'd be pretty bitter if I got shot in the face.
Yeah, but you'd kind of hope that there was something a bit more interesting to him than just like.
All I know is 40 years from now, when I'm in my 70s, I hope I'm like 10% as cool as he is.
Dark side or dark side Hado? Hado said he loves KOTOR.
My biggest thing with the first KOTOR game, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, is even setting aside the light side and the dark side for a second, I don't know how anyone can play that game, figure out the Revan twist, and then still come out the other side of that supporting the Jedi. Like, if that was me, I would want to kill, even if I was the nicest person ever, I would want to kill every single one of them.
The thing is, the ones that did that to you died anyway, didn't they?
Yeah, but the others are still guilty by association.
One more and it's a wrap.
Fair enough.
It's like how in Dragon Age, you could be the nicest blood mage in the world, but you're still a blood mage, so everyone wants to kill you.
Rendezvous at LZ for extraction.
Copy that. Let's move.
Have you ever thought about doing like a SWTOR playthrough or SWTOR stream, Tim?
Squad member needs help.
I thought about it, but it's with Star Wars. They're just kind of very trigger happy with the copyright claims and stuff. So pretty much all the
Yeah,
music.
you can always just turn the music off, though, can't you?
You can. It's just a bit more hassle, isn't it?
Yeah.
All you have to do is turn one slider down to 0 and then just find like a 10-hour loop on YouTube of like royalty-free music to run in the background.
Well, not even that, like, you can get Discord bots that play random music, can you? Although I suppose that's not copyright free, is it?
SWTOR's a BioWare game, so just put random BioWare music on in the background that's not Star Wars. I guess speaking of SWTOR, we've all been saying that I should migrate all my characters over to Darth Malgus or whatever the Europe server is, so we can get a guild boat for us.
Yeah, we need to get
I do think that would be cool if we, like, I don't know, not did that, like, the crazy operation stuff that people do, because I'd honestly be very bad at that. But if we just did, like, you know, casual stuff, that'd be fun.
yeah. I think
Also,
you,
before anyone yells at me, sorry.
I would say I think you need four people to start a guild. You have to register or something, don't you?
Yeah, but one thing I used to do with like, if there was only 2 people, like, like, if I had a friend who wanted to make a guild, I would just help them, and then we'd pay, like, 2 people on the fleet to do it as well. Like, just say, do you want 200k credits for free to help us make a guild?
It's a good idea.
Yeah, everyone always wants
How
free
do
money.
I sound, guys?
Sound good, Curtis?
Yeah, sounds a lot
Yeah,
better.
I had to sign off. Okay. Yeah, I had to sign off. My Discord wasn't working for some reason, so I had to leave the game. So sorry about that.
Yeah, Hado said he's light side in KOTOR. Quite honestly, I did prefer the light side ending to the dark side ending, because I don't know, I felt a bit unfulfilled after the dark side ending. Like, it just felt like, okay, I'm on a bridge of a ship, and this is it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're back in now, Curtis.
Yeah, I'm logging on. So
Cool.
okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to leave the game there.
No worries. Dicky Gray.
Yeah, I could hear you guys, but I don't think you could hear me. So that was kind of weird.
Let's try the
Yeah,
quarry.
it could have been a. It could have been a microphone problem, maybe, Curtis.
Yeah, it's what it was.
I'm not sure because I've had problems with my microphone.
The thing is, I keep unplugging my headphones to two different computers, so that's maybe my plug is starting to wear out. So.
What's the name of our super cool
Yeah.
guild going to be, though?
We could literally just ironically call it the Super Cool Guild.
I think the best guild name I've ever seen was someone called their guild Abercrombie and Sith.
Oh dear. Terrible. Do you think we'll see Kolyat in the new Mass Effect? I would very much doubt it, to be honest. I think it's going to be set around about 600 years after the end of Mass Effect 3. Would be my guess. I think it's going to
Can
be.
you imagine if they just catch everyone by surprise and Kolyat's like the main villain in the next one?
He could be working for Liara, who would be like the main villain. It would be like Kolyat would be the villain in the first game, but then you'd find out at the very end after you kill him that he was working for Liara and she'll be the villain in the next one.
Or better still, Kolyat is in cahoots with Blasto.
I wouldn't actually mind like a standalone point-and-click Blasto game.
I think they should make like a mobile game about him or something. Like just bring all the mobile games back.
Like, just because of how Blasto is, like, I don't know if anyone here is old enough to remember Monkey Island, but if they made like a Monkey Island style game, but with Blasto, that would be the greatest thing ever.
Harpoon gun?
To be fair, like it would be interesting if they somehow incorporated all the endings, like they're going 600 years in the future. Like, obviously there are certain things you'd have to work around with synthesis and everything, but I still think it would be nice to see ED.
Yeah, Edie could show up, couldn't she?
Not if you pick Destroy.
I do think it's kind of funny that I've watched playthroughs where people pick Destroy but like completely forget that ED is there and synthetic. So they're just like, oh my god, yeah, ED's dead at the very end.
I watched a streamer once, and when she got to the very end, and then the Star Child was reading out, like describing what was going to happen for every ending. So he described the Destroy ending, and then the streamer's like, wait a second, who's synthetic again? So I guess that's a common thing.
I don't get how you can forget who's synthetic though. You know, because it's kind of obvious, isn't it?
Okay.
I don't know. I wish one thing BioWare would do, and I'd be curious to know what the chat feels like, is like when you make a decision, because you know, it seemed like in Mass Effect 1, every single no matter how minor of a character there was, if you interacted with someone, you would at least get an email in the second game. But there's so many other things that don't carry over. Like there's like for example, like if you let Vito live in Zaid's mission, he should show up in the third game, but you just never see from him again.
There was a cut mission with that. Well, it was a cut conversation, should I say, with Zaid. He was supposed to tell Shepard that in Mass Effect 3 that he had tracked Vito. Is it Vito? Not Vito.
Yeah, Vito.
Yeah, Vito. He tracked him down to a Blue Sun's base, but just as he's about to kill him, a harvester comes and picks him up and takes him up, carries him off.
Team member offline.
Okay, where'd he go?
Team member
Oh,
offline.
maybe I shouldn't have picked a sniper
Oh.
rifle.
Already got killed already, too? When you guys were talking about renegades until my mic ran out,
Regrouping. Time to reload.
on Match 1, I always like when the council keeps want to talk to you, I always like to hang up on them.
I do love the joke he hits back at that in the second game where he says, "Let me know if you want to call the council and then hang up on them."
It's like old, it's
Yeah,
like old times.
yeah.
Team member is hurt.
It would be absolutely awesome if you actually could, though.
I actually like the even more pessimistic thing where, like, after you finish on Vermeer, when Joker's like, do you want to call them? And you can say, why bother? They're not going to believe me anyway.
What's your least favourite mission in the Mass Effect series?
Squad member needs help.
Least favourite mission? Oh, that's a good question, that horrible guy.
Scan the keepers.
That's not really a mission, though. That's just something you just... Oh, if you're just walking around and you see one you didn't get, you just like, okay, click.
Yeah, but still having to like check every single area of the Citadel to find them.
I would probably say the moon mission, the lunar mission on the in Mass Effect 1.
Stay alert. Enemy is regrouping.
You have to go to those 3 different sub bases and take out
Tell that some high-value personnel are on location.
the take out the computer thingies, and then each one you go to, like, barriers have come up, and then you've got those little flying drone things, and I just find it really tedious.
Strategic target on the field.
That mission's where you get your prestige class, though.
Still tedious.
Raise priority. Take him out.
It doesn't seem to matter
enough.
which order you go in. It's always, you always have to do all 3.
Squad member has flatlined.
Hollywood's guys is the Rio mission.
Running out of time. Target is down. Last target is on the field. Take him down.
I'm trying to think of one that I genuinely don't like, as opposed to one I just find tedious.
Mission accomplished. All targets down. Get to the target. Running out of time. Squad member needs help.
Ah. Little droid down.
I need a better weapon for her.
Picked up on you.
Team member offline. Mission
Always random says I always get sad that the Geth and Edie have to die in the destroy ending. Well, you don't actually see them die though, do you? That's only what Star Child things told you.
And don't forget that the destroy ending also kills the Turians and the Quarians. They just never touch on that.
Although you do see them fine in the extended cut.
I think BioWare just forgot that they made the Turians and Quarians eat different food than us, though.
Squad member offline.
If TV show 24's taught me anything, is if you don't see a body, then they're not actually really dead.
We did see Legion's body.
Sorry?
Does that mean Han Solo's still alive when Star Wars Episode 10 comes out?
It's possible. Well, I mean,
Be a clone.
yeah, you did see him get stabbed, to be fair. But
See, that's kind of my theory for why I think Kai Lang survived too. Like all the stuff that guy's been through, and you're telling me that one stab to the solar plexus is what killed him? I don't buy it.
I'd just love it if Han Solo showed up again and just said, the news of my death was greatly exaggerated. Just to be
Yeah,
ultra-
no, that'd be cool though, because I mean, like you could tie Han Solo to Winston Churchill then.
Outstanding work. Enemy is regrouping. Time to reload.
I'm not sure why you would want to, but yeah, I guess.
No, because it was Winston Churchill who said that though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was also said a lot in various like shows and whatever.
I'm waiting for what I really want to see is a Star Wars where Yoda's like 2,000 years old and he's sitting on a rocking porch drinking lemonade, and some like young kid Twi'leks or something run across his yard and he says something like, "Too old to walk on my grass you are," or something like that.
yeah.
Team member has
How's my day going? Fabian, my day is going fantastic, thank you. How's yours? Technically the Legion loyalty mission in 2, because the invasion happens no matter what. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair point.
Yeah, but Legion's loyalty mission is more of a, it changes the war assets around big time. It's like if you save the Council in Mass Effect 1, the Alliance 3rd fleet basically doesn't exist in the 3rd game.
But the Destiny Ascension does. Whereas if you don't
Yeah, but
save
that's still one ship versus an entire fleet. It's like that old, how's that old saying go that like 1,000 duck-sized polar bears are way more dangerous than one polar bear-sized duck or something like that?
The enemy has established a communication array. Get back and find that device.
Is there any more word on the new Dragon Age game? No, not heard anything actually. Oh, apart from a
Device disabled.
another lead developer has left.
I would say all news is good news, but it's not.
Half the devices are down. Stay up. Squad member needs help.
Here, step on me. I told you not to step on me. They don't listen to me.
Too busy reading the chat. Run away, run away, run away.
I think just as long as
You got
Win
that little droid.
isn't in Dragon Age 4, it will be fine.
Ah, I saw a video. I meant to tag you in it, actually. I didn't actually watch it, but I saw it and I thought of you. The video was it was titled "When Morrigan Kills Win."
Well, I mean, Morgan does raise a very valid point in that cutscene.
Mission accomplished.
And everything bad that happens at Redcliffe and at Lake Calenhad are both directly a result of the Chantry and the Circle. And Wynn defends them and attacks you for even... It's like, I understand that abominations are bad and you probably don't want them, but at the same time I feel like
Probably
they
don't want
way
them.
over... No, but I think they treat them like boogeymen, and I don't think they're as bad as everyone says. It's like, you know, when they build them up so bad and then you finally fight one and you're like, well, that wasn't that bad.
I mean, they did take over the mind of a child. And, you know, more than one actually. There are a few missions and a few cases where children get caught up in all of it.
Those were demons though, not abominations. And one of the kids who got their mind taken over by a cat. And certainly we're not going to outlaw cats.
Team member has gone dark.
But I mean, you don't find it even a little bit weird where if you bring Morgan on the mission to the tower, and then you're like, "Hi, Win," and then Win's like, "Your friend's an apostate. I'm going to attack you now," and like you're like, "What? Wait, what?" Like she kind of overreacts a little bit, in my opinion.
Team member offline. Squad member offline.
Yeah, Random just wants to know what happened to Ogren. I like Ogren.
Enemies approaching.
If you save the Anvil of the Void and don't destroy it, can you not offer up Ogren to be the first person turned into a golem?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like that's a thing you can do, but I've never done it, but I'm not 100% sure now.
Squad member offline.
No.
Team member is hurt. Squad member in trouble.
Random says you can. Although he's never done it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought that sounded familiar. I mean, like, just to finish my thought, a blood mage literally saves Arl Eamon's son's life, and then afterwards he throws him in prison and wants to have him executed for it. I think that's a little bit overboard.
They also poisoned him. You kind of forget that.
Yeah, but
bit.
that's separate entirely. That's separate entirely, though. Okay, well then look at the whole mess in the tower started because the mages were sick and tired of the Chantry watching over them and using strung-out drug addicts in the Templars to keep them underfoot, and they only turned to blood magic just to try to win their own freedom. I mean, you can't. It's kind of hard for me anyway to hate them for that.
Outstanding work. Enemy is still active. Stay alert. Bogeys incoming.
I should do a run as a blood mage. I've never actually done that, and just yell at everybody. I bet you it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I need to go back to my human noble playthrough, to be honest.
Squad member down.
Warrior or mage?
Warrior. I've basically done everything from human warrior. Actually, that's a lie. I've not done a Dalish elf.
If you play as a Dalish elf, can you be a werewolf?
That would be cool, but I don't think so. The thing is, like, as much as I love Dragon Age Origins, there are just so many missions that when you go back to them, you just remember how tedious it was to do them. Like, you know, like the deep roads, or when you're stuck in a fade.
I don't mind the fade, except for it's too monotone for me. But it is tedious, I'll give you that.
I do think they did something very creative with it, when you can like change it to different. I don't know what you call them, but like you can change it to a golem and like a fire creature of some kind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the cute mouse.
yeah.
And then one of the ring wraiths. Do you not like the deep roads just because they're so long, or is there something else that kind of bothers you about them?
I think it's just
More
because
just it's really long.
yeah, it's just a bit, the whole Orzammar thing. I find is just way too long.
I think the best paced part of that game is when you're in Redcliffe, I think. The whole thing about defending that village, I like.
Random wants to know which is better, Dragon Age Origins or Inquisition. Personally, I would go with Origins.
I'd go with Origins too. I really like Inquisition, but I feel like they were trying too hard to make it Skyrim.
Sensors tell me only one left.
Kind of made me think of SWTOR in a few ways as well. It kind of had a bit of that MMO to it. Without obviously it being multiplayer. The main story.
Stay alert. Enemy is regrouping. Squad member incoming. A classified device has been lost en route to HQ.
Sorry, I'm not sure how much I'm actually cutting out, but
You sound fine to me.
Get back to the evac.
Yeah, alright.
I think the only thing I found weird about Orzammar is the rest of the game, everything else they do such a good job of like having this like moral gray area. But then when you get to Orzammar, Harrowmont and Balin are the most cut and dry good guy and bad guy ever.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating that ultimately Balin is what's best for Orzammar, but he's just painted as a villain. So obviously you want Orzammar to interact with the surface more, and Balin wants that as well. I do think that's what ultimately makes the choice more interesting, though.
I think Tim likes his big guns.
Don't
One
like.
thing I've never noticed in sorry.
I was just going to say that I don't like sniper rifles. That's for sure.
I was just gonna say one thing I've always kind of meant to check, but I always forget, is when you get to Orzammar, is there any? Because then when you're talking to Sandal, and then I can never remember his dad's name, but he goes on a story about how he left Orzammar because someone thought he stole their gauntlets or something. Does that ever pay off? Like, can you find out anything about what actually happened there when you do get to Orzammar?
It's been way too long since I played.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
There could be videos on it on YouTube.
Enemy forces down to 1.
About the Dragon Age leaving, it looks like Dragon Age might take a while to be made. I think they're still on, from the last I heard, that they're still on track for 2024 release, like late 2023, 2024.
So does that mean, going by Anthem standards, they're going to start making the game in summer 2022?
Yeah. Well, it's changed direction like 3 or 4 times, isn't it? It was supposed to be a multiplayer only game at one point.
Yeah, but I think EA got super scared when there were those rumors that it was going to be a live service game came out. And I hope how well Fallen Order did made them realize that single-player games can be profitable. I mean, between that and God of War, I mean, everyone should be making single-player games.
Never played God of War.
Or I think as it's better known now, a dad of boy.
I mean, I saw someone playing it, and I kind of just didn't really get why everyone's so hyped about it. Like, the whole father-son thing just kind of felt like a repetition of The Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us, but Thor.
Yeah, Last of Us, but you don't really sit with the characters for very long because there's always action.
Well, as someone who's 75% Icelandic, I'm a sucker for any game that has Norse mythology in it and does it well.
I suppose if it's got a lot of lore to it, I understand the appeal.
I like that it was a more, everything else set aside, I like that it was a more mature game. I mean, like, the first 3 games were fun, but you can definitely tell they came out in like the early to mid 2000s. This is just crazy hack and slash, over the top nonsense. I mean, they're still entertaining, but the 2018 one was more of like a a game you could actually get into.
Yeah, I remember I did have PlayStation Now briefly, and I played one of the older ones, and I do think the new one is better compared to the original ones.
Well, I mean, the original ones had QTE events for sex. It was like the stupidest, most ridiculous thing ever, but it was kind of funny.
Right, it's 20 past 10 here. Do you want to finish up with the gold one, or do you want to do another silver? We've got about 10 minutes left. It's gone quite quick tonight, actually.
Well, if you're doing gold, it might take more than 10 minutes. Or did you mean bronze?
Bronze, I meant, yeah. Please.
It don't matter to me.
I was going to say, Tim, like, has something changed in the last couple of weeks that you've become an expert at multiplayer?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not dying as much.
I have tonight. Been watching Tim too long, I guess. I don't know.
So is anyone else getting the new Lego Star Wars game? Because I am probably too overexcited about it.
I might, just because the Lego Star Wars is literally a million times better than anything live action that Disney's done since they took over the IP.
Even The Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian should have just been called Video Game Side Quest the movie. Like, he's got this big thing where he's supposed to protect Grogu, and all he does is walk around helping old women find their frying pans. Although I do take it back, Rogue One was pretty good. Although it's funny because Rogue One was directed by someone who had never seen a Star Wars movie in their life.
The only thing I don't like about Rogue One is that they didn't have Kyle Katarn in it. It should have been Kyle Katarn's movie, that.
Doesn't he die at the end of one of the Jedi Knight games?
No. No, the last if you play as a Sith, if you fall to the dark side in Jedi Academy, which is his last one, he tells Luke that he's failed him as a teacher, and Luke says, "Don't worry, I'll find him." Yeah, you have to fight him, but you don't kill him. And Luke says, "Don't worry about it. I'll track him down."
I get that there are certain parts of like those comics and books that wouldn't work, like if you tried to keep it as like one consistent storyline, but honestly they really should have like embraced what Marvel had learned and, you know, take some of the characters and stories from the comics and just put their own spin on it a little bit.
How?
Because, you know, like how Marvel did with Thanos and the Infinity Stones thing, but it's different in the comics. I think Nebula's the one who kills Thanos in the comics.
For the most part, I like what Marvel did, although there were a few characters I wish they had done more with. Although they had so many characters, I realized I guess some of them just had to get cut for time.
The Vader scene at the end of Rogue One, though, that is very, very well done.
Like, Ronan the Accuser was one of my favorite villains in the comics, and he's in like one movie for 5 minutes, and then he gets punked.
Bleeding out.
Squad member has flatlined.
Random thinks that they should have got competent people to direct the latest films.
Yeah, I don't think Bryan Cranston's a bad director. I just think they should have got one director for all three.
Yeah. They should have had a story set out for all three. Not, here you go, make a movie and try and make it fit.
Well, especially when you see things like Daisy Ridley was doing interviews saying that it was like 4 months before the movie came out, and they were still trying to figure out if she was going to be a Palpatine or a Skywalker or a Calrissian or whatever.
I'm not sure why she would have been a Calrissian.
I think she should have been if you want to get technical, she should have been a Plute, because that's who raised her.
There are key enemy personnel in the area. Find the target.
Oh, you mean Platt?
Yeah, well, she was Unkar Plute, the guy Simon Pegg played. He basically raised her, so why couldn't she have been him? Or his last name.
Target out of play. Nice job. New target spotted.
I am looking forward to the Obi-Wan series though.
Yeah, quite honestly, after all these years, I'm glad that they're at least taking a break from movies, and honestly, I'm a bit tired of arguing about the sequel trilogy. It's been a long time.
I think Disney just needs to do what I said, is just make the next movie a big, like, 4-hour epic about Darth Vectivus. Just because, like, the movies have been so trash. Like, why not just make, like, a 4-hour movie about a Sith Lord who never actually killed a single person, and just use the dark side to get really, really rich? I mean, that's basically what Disney's been using Star Wars for anyway.
Did anyone see that that fake trailer for the Knights of Ren film or something?
I did not.
Someone made like a fake leak about a Knights of Ren film, and I just thought that's what they should be doing, really. Like, they can't, for publicity reasons, they can't obviously say, oh, we messed up, we're going to decanonize everything. They won't do that. So what they should do is basically do what the Mandalorian's doing, and just add bits that kind of fill in the massive issues that they've created. You know, like with what they hinted at in Mandalorian Season 2 about the, the M count? Metachlorian count thing, where basically the Empire's doing experiments, which you can assume is like what causes Snoke to be created, couldn't you? I mean, some people are saying what led to Palpatine coming back, but the fact that they don't obviously say what it is makes it more interesting. Especially seeing as Knights of Ren hardly did anything in those movies, it would be nice to see something.
So you mean kind of like how Book of Boba Fett brought in Cad Bane at the 11th hour to be like, hey, look, here's the thing you guys liked.
I thought it was so cool that he appeared, but I don't get why he was just killed off unceremoniously.
Everyone's saying that because his suit was beeping after he got stabbed, that was him signaling his droid to come pick him up. So I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out in the next season that he was just stashed in a bantha tank for 6 months and is fine now.
Why should we be forced to...
Although something interesting...
Yeah. Sorry, no, I was just reading the chat there. Random wants to know why we should be forced to watch the films like Clockwork, understand why it failed.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I forget who it was, but I was watching someone, I think it might have been the Stupendous Wave, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, someone was saying that their only issue with Cad Bane being in it is at that point of like the timeline, he'd be like 75 or 80. And I'm not sure how old Duros lived to be, but that's going to be pretty old.
I did look it up and it does make sense at least. Like, pretty sure they can live past 100.
Yeah, well, humans can too, but you don't often see too many like 80-year-old bounty hunters running around fighting Jedi.
I mean, you see a lot of people with missing hands getting replacements, don't you?
I mean, that's fair.
The directors should... Okay, what Random Waxer meant to say was the directors should be forced to watch the sequels similar to Clockwork Orange to understand why they suck.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
Well, that's a renegade decision if I've heard one.
All they had to do was make Snoke turn out to be Darth Plagueis. Like, it was set up there perfectly for them, and they just were like, oh, let's bring Palpatine back.
Yeah.
I think they should have just had Kylo Ren as the main villain for the last movie and just... I don't know.
I think Rey should have turned out to have been the main villain. Like, there was so much set up for Rey being a bad guy, especially in Last Jedi. Yeah, I think if 9 had had Rey as the villain and then Kylo turning his life around, so to speak, and redeeming himself like Vader did, that would have been way more interesting.
Lost shield.
Or if they had just maybe had Hux say F it and tried to destroy the galaxy because Kylo hurt his feelings.
Time is short. We need this to happen.
Whoa.
Did any of you read that comic I posted the link to, by the way?
No.
I'll have to finish it. I had a quick look, but then got busy and then forgot about it. But I'll have a quick look at, or have a proper look at it tonight, maybe.
It's a pretty out there idea, but it's different to what 9 was, at least.
No, I meant to have a look last week. I completely forgot about it.
I think the original one actually had Finn do something useful, which was nice.
The first movie should have been pretty much entirely about Poe and Finn anyway.
Yeah, it does, like, oddly switch perspectives quite a lot, doesn't it? Well, I suppose New Hope did that, actually.
A New Hope was the first movie, though, so there was nothing really to base it off of or to compare it against.
Enemy is regrouping.
That's kind of weird how he made those movies like that.
Well, I mean, hasn't George Lucas said that he was basically really inspired by like Akira Kurosawa movies when he made Star Wars? So, I mean, basically the movies are like Japanese space cowboy movies in space. Yeah.
Apparently Poe was supposed to die in the first scene, but the actor requested to stay alive.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He probably wanted people to forget he was in Annihilation.
To be honest, like, I've seen a few things that he was in before, and it was just a shame that he's been, like, sort of cast aside so often in the roles he's played, mostly before Star Wars, I mean. Actually, even in Dune, he was kind of just thrown aside towards the end there.
I can't remember him in Dune.
He was the father of the prince of Timothy. What's his face?
Oliphant?
Yeah, I can't say his last name.
The guy from the Hitman movies, right?
Am I thinking of the right person then?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe Timothy Chalamet? I don't know, the young kid in that film who's like a prince. The one I'm thinking of is quite a young actor.
Ah, come on, I used my shield briefs there.
Some fine work, team. Enemy is still active. Stay alert. Bogeys incoming.
Got it.
I think one way or the other, one thing I think we can all agree on is that bringing Palpatine back and then magically having him have a fleet of 50,000 million Star Destroyers that all had Death Star cannons was probably the worst decision they could have made.
It's
Yeah.
literally the kind of decision that would have been made if a child was in charge as well. It screamed like something that a child would come up with.
Yeah, and then the scene where they're riding horses on the outside of the ship.
Yeah, that just kind of felt like they were at a point where they didn't care anymore.
I saw a meme this morning, and it was a picture of the scene of when Luke was trying to get the X-Wing out of the swamp and couldn't, and then Yoda did. And then it had Yoda was Jon Favreau, and then the X-Wing was the Star Wars franchise, and then the swamp was Disney.
No.
We got slashed.
Yeah, they're not going to get retconned, so...
I wouldn't be so sure. J.J. Abrams pretty much retconned 90% of The Last Jedi in Rise of Skywalker.
I mean, he twisted the words basically to fit the plot that he wanted.
Well, I hear now that JJ's coming back and do another Star Trek movie. That's what I hear.
God, I hope not. The ones he made already were awful.
Weird enough, I think I've only seen the ones that he's done, like, 'cause he did Into Darkness, I think.
He did.
Sensors tell me
I thought that was alright. I don't remember anything from it, but it was alright.
Fun fact, the JJ stands for Jar Jar. Not many people know that, but I swear it's true.
Wouldn't it be funny you put Jar Jar in Star Trek?
enemy is regrouping.
Good old Jar Jar Abrams, who's never had an original idea in his life.
Bogies incoming.
Yeah, I don't know who chose to bring him back for the final act, but
I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that they couldn't get anyone who was to make a serious movie, and they're like, screw it, just see if JJ will do it.
He'll do pretty good of it.
anyway, let's change the subjects, and kind of seems like the rest of the chat is that to happen.
Yeah, it's random left, I think.
So mission in Mass Effect I hate the most. I'll say the collector ship, just because it's really, really long, and on Insanity, the Praetorian is super annoying.
Fair enough.
Oh, you also get those. What do you call them? The ones that kind of freeze you. They look like big blob things, but they can fire projectiles at you that will go through cover.
What do you mean, the Scions?
Is it Scions?
Yeah, they have like a shockwave gun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolute
got
nightmare
you
they
down
are.
on one.
Oh, yeah, I've been on record for many streams that Scions are the worst enemy in the franchise.
I just got taken down by one.
Good work.
That's it.
Enemy is regrouping.
Scions, yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Do a sweep of the network. Grab what you
Contact.
can.
It's just, oh my word.
Always going the wrong direction.
Wow. Didn't do anything to him.
So keeping things more positive, what's everyone's favorite Marvel movie?
Clock's ticking. Get in and get it done.
Movie.
I'd like to say Avengers Infinity War, but I didn't really like how Endgame just reversed it.
Please now.
We got it. Squad member needs help. Upload at 50% complete.
Just to be a little bit different, I'm going to say Ant-Man, solely because it's the only movie I think I've ever seen where they didn't have a stepdad be a comically over-the-top villain and actually be a decent person.
Need ammo.
Connection squad member in trouble.
I like the Ant-Man
Who
film.
is it we're talking about?
Ant-Man.
No, but who are you talking about, like, bad guy being a decent person? Were you literally talking
No,
about?
no, because he's a stepdad in that movie, and most of the time in movies, stepdads are just awful villains.
Oh, dead again, look. Randoms is Spider-Man.
The Sam Raimi ones or the new one?
I will admit, No Way Home was a really fun film. But for me, I think it might. For me, it might actually be the first Captain America film.
I quite like Civil War.
That one was quite good as well. Yeah.
I've just finished watching Hawkeye, the TV series. That's actually quite good, to be fair. Quite enjoyed it.
I was so happy when Kingpin showed up.
Yeah.
It's just like it was like the hint before the major hint. Have you seen the new Spider-Man film, Tim?
Sorry?
Have you seen the new Spider-Man film?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the setup for Daredevil's appearance, basically.
Yeah, nice little cameo.
The only Daredevil is Ben Affleck.
No.
Speaking of Marvel, is it a bad thing that every time I see the way Robert Downey Jr. acts as Iron Man, it reminds me of his character from Tropic Thunder?
Anybody waiting for Morbius? Morbius?
I honestly keep forgetting that film exists, if I'm being honest. Or it's going to.
Yeah, I want to say I'm cautiously excited for it, but I'm not really sure what they're going to do with it.
I'm excited to see Matt Smith be a British villain, just to see what that's like.
Well, he was already the greatest Doctor, so
I do think he was a really good Doctor, and I think he's my favourite, to be honest.
I know. And I know a lot of people don't like him, but I'll die on that hill.
I mean, like, I was basically like 5 or 6 when David Tennant's era was, but I did love Matt Smith's era more, I think.
I also loved Matt Smith's like 16-second cameo in Terminator Genesis.
He's also quite good in Last Night in Soho, if any of you have seen that.
Last Night in what?
Last Night in Soho, it's made by the guy who did the Cornetto trilogy.
I'll have to check that out. I don't think I've even heard of that.
To be fair, it really didn't do well in the States, which is annoying because it's actually quite a good film.
Well, that brings us to the end of this week's live stream. I actually quite enjoyed the old super chat, the super heroes movie chat thing. So we might actually pick up on that next week. We'll go into that a bit more conversation on that one, I think. So just want to say thank you to Diana, to Curtis, to Cerberus Guy for the game. Hopefully next week we can have a game with Takes a Note as well, gaming.
Good.
So yeah, if you're available and your computer working. But thank you very much for the chat. I want to say thank you to Random, to Hollywood Guy for being awesome and hanging out here. And we had Nico was here earlier as well. Happy birthday, Nico, Cody, and Jumping Popcorn as well. So thank you very much. And everybody else that's watching, we'll be back again next week. next Saturday, and I will get a live stream for some more Mass Effect Andromeda this week too. I missed it last week. I was a little bit busy, and but yeah, we'll Tuesday night we'll go and meet Raze. I think it is. Was it Sloan? It might be Sloan. I'm not sure. I've never met him
Sure it's
before.
Han Solo.
But yeah, that's where we're up to.
Reyes and Sloan are very different people.
Are they? Okay. We're going to meet one of them on Tuesday, so hope to see you then. Otherwise, have yourself a great weekend, and I will see you next time.
It's been fun, guys.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks for coming,
Yeah.
guys. And well, I say coming, but thanks for chatting, everyone, because I was just chatting with you guys. But it's always good to join in.
Thank you.